Hello, this is Tony Holland, founder and CEO of Global Premier Benefits. I'm here today with an upcoming legend, the king of the hill of our new Young Guns team, man. I'm here with Trey, the man, Jones. What's up, Trey?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Glad that you're able to make it here today.
Thanks for having us.
Man, I'm really excited, man. Man, what you've done is truly amazing. I can't believe the success you've had in such a short period of time. This past AEP did over, 611 apps yourself?
Well, the 600 was 11 for the year, but for an agency, we were actually over almost 800.
Awesome job. Give me some. Fist bump, bro. Good job, man. Good job. So tell me a little bit, Trey, about your upbringing. Where'd you start? I mean, you grew up, in Memphis, Tennessee?
Lived in Memphis my whole life.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you play sports back in school?
Yeah, I played competitive baseball for years. And then football, and then eventually lacrosse.
Oh, did you really?
So, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
When it started getting bigger in Memphis.
Yeah, I can see that competitive nature in you. Yeah. You like to compete, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like being top of that leaderboard.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So did you go off to college?
So I actually went for about a couple months and then recognized it wasn't for me. And then my cousin was actually just leaving. He was a regional at Aflac and was actually leaving to go to a different insurance company and introduced me to the regional that was coming in. And he had worked there, and my dad had worked there too. So I figured it was a good shot. At Aflac.
You started your insurance career at Aflac?
Yes. Yeah. So I got my insurance license and went ahead and went there and,
So what did you do before Aflac?
I was going to school.
Oh, so you went right from college. Yep. And what college did you go to?
Memphis.
You went to Memphis. Okay, so you were playing baseball there?
No. No. I was just going there.
Just going to school.
Yeah.
So you left Memphis. Okay. How many years did you go?
About 2 months.
Two months? Well, it didn't take you long.
No.
So 2 months, you said, college is not for me.
No.
Why was that?
I mean, I just figured that, I knew that I wasn't going to be doing anything that required a degree that I would go into debt for. And I honestly just kind of wanted to start working. So, and it just wasn't really for me sitting in a classroom and learning things that I could be learning by doing, or for people that, were already doing what I was doing at a higher level and could, teach me. And I've been lucky to have people along the way that can guide me and kind of, show me things that I would need to see. So.
Namely, like your mom and dad.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad, correct me if I'm wrong, was in the business too, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so he's been actually in the insurance business since he graduated from Tennessee.
Okay.
And then
University of Tennessee?
Yep, and then focused on Medicare starting in 2016.
Okay.
And so once he was in that business for a little bit, I graduated high school in 2016, and then actually was tried out as an insurance adjuster. My aunt's an insurance adjuster.
Oh, really?
To Houston, Texas during the hurricane. But I don't like to, travel and be gone for a long time.
Right.
So something I could do, from home. And once I had learned or gone through Aflac and kind of seen that market, kind of got some sales under my belt and, going to door, getting rejected, different things like that, of kind of learning that, he taught me all about Medicare, what I needed to do, the integrity that it needed to be done with, and just kind of going through that process. And then to get more reps in, I actually joined because I wanted to bring something to the table, when I joined him. So I didn't want to, drag him down or, stall what he was doing. I wanted to be able to actually bring something to a partnership instead of just, being a son that joined a father that was already established.
You
I wanted to
wanted
bring
to earn your own
something.
stripes.
Yeah, I wanted to bring in and help him out as he helped me.
Got it.
So I went to a call center and was right during the CVS and Aetna merger. So I was a part of the Silver Script program.
I remember that.
Yep. So I was doing $100 to $200 a day, and that really kind of gets you in the mode of
100
calling.
to 200 calls a day?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So we were doing
just talking to clients about what?
So changing from Silver Script to a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay, got it.
So they wanted to do a program with people that were just on that drug plan that were still on original Medicare.
Got it.
To kind of save them from those high costs, the gaps within Medicare, as we call it. So getting them over to a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
And then kind of going through different carriers. So I learned doing it by then. I actually got the job by saying I hadn't been doing it for a while. But I learned better by doing. So
that's awesome.
I had joined there and learned from the people around me, learned some things not to do,
Right.
but then also learned, the way that it should be done, because I did have that solid foundation that, him teaching me, my dad teaching me about Medicare, the parts, breaking it down, and kind of just sharing stories about things he had seen in Memphis and the way that he carried himself in the industry. You don't have to
Right.
screw somebody over to be successful. I mean,
Right.
because, he's had people that over the years that referrals, sent him over 100 people just from how he's treated them and taken care of them. So it really shows you take care of these people, they're going to take care of you.
So you got a really good mentor. Your dad's been, I know, a big blessing to you as well as to our organization. Known your dad for years, and it's amazing you chose this as a career at such a young age. How old are you right now?
24.
You're a baby, man.
Yep.
24. When you said I graduated in 2016, I'm like, man, that wasn't that long ago,
No.
man. And so you're a family man now, right?
Yep, I have a beautiful wife and a little girl.
Wow.
She's 19 months old.
How old?
19 months.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations. Welcome to fatherhood,
Yep.
man.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's it like?
It's amazing. It's the best thing I've ever done.
You getting some sleep?
She's actually a pretty good sleeper. At first, we weren't. So, we were switching between her feeding her at 11:30 at night and me at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, but she's actually a pretty good sleeper. So I'm sure we'll make up for that when we have the next one. So,
awesome.
But she's nothing better than being a dad to a little girl.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you that.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
And speak a little bit about your partnership with your wife. Because I've always said this, and I learned this from the early days from one of my mentors, Mr. Art Williams. There's nothing more powerful than a husband and wife team. How would you comment about that? Your wife being a part of your life and supporting you in this business?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I've done and contribute to my dad and I's business without her. I mean, she is way smarter than I am. I talk for a living and explain Medicare, but with her education, the job that she had, was very important. A diagnostic sonographer, and she wanted to be a mom, so she gave that up to be at home with our little girl, and without her being there, and because I'm very paranoid about childcare and different things like that, but she is, an amazing mom, an amazing partner, and she supports me in all ways. Because annual enrollment period, as you know, is not an easy time.
Right.
I mean, we're gone from 12, 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
My dad and I are working, so there's not many partners that are able to either, let's say, put up with that, but support you through that. They cause stress at home ends up stress at work, and if you don't have somebody at home that's able to take care of things for you and hold down the fort, you're not able to go out and be successful, and especially build an agency and make a successful life in another way. So I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do without what she does at home, especially taking care of things and our daughter.
That's awesome. Awesome. Nothing more important than that. And I used to comment about in the early days when I was at your age, having a family, this business gives you that lifestyle. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Can you comment about the lifestyle in terms of, there's a lot of people watching here today, man. I would love to see my husband or wife not have to work and raise our children, because the educational, I mean, all you got to do is, see the news that, every time you turn around, there's something going on with, the school boards. To talk about that a little bit.
Oh, well, I mean, I think the industry we're in is the greatest that it can be, especially it's recession proof. And there's not many, because I was a father, found out she was pregnant at 22.
Okay.
So I was a father right before I turned 23 years old.
Wow.
So there's not many 23-year-olds that can say that they can support, their wife to stay home and, or wife supporting a husband staying home and, raising a child. So that to me was a very, very big point of pride that I could actually do that, and, us not just scrape by, that we're able to provide a life for my wife and daughter where they're not having to have small meals or anything like that. They can still continue to do what they're doing and raise her how we want to be raised. So I don't know many jobs or many 23-year-olds that are fortunate enough and lucky enough to be able to do that. So that's very important to me, because like we just said, that stuff bothers me.
Yeah.
Well,
it was tough for my wife to make that transition, but it's her choice. But we thank God today because of how well our children are. I don't think if we put them in the child care or the system that's out there that's so out of line now, our kids would have turned out the way they have. So that's a great, awesome testimony of this business. So what would you say, Trey, is your why? I understand, on the side of being there for your family, because you're doing very well, extremely well. I know what kind of money you make. I mean, you're making, a high 6-figure income, soon to be 7-figure income. It's not too many college dropouts at a young age are making that kind of money. What's your why behind that? Because I know it can't just be the money. What's your why for what you do?
Well, not only, us being successful and being able to create kind of a culture in our own office, but, letting other people be successful that, may not have had the chance to do that.
Right.
Not knowing the knowledge of, okay, well, you can do this because, having that mindset of just, okay, well, this is all I can do, this is all I can ever do is, a sickness. A lot of people
Right.
have that. So, getting agents that are like-minded with us that, want to break out of that and want to give that life, to their family and to
Right.
do things. So we've got agents now that are making more, an annual enrollment period that they never thought they would ever make. People with no savings, people with no retirement, we're able to give them that
Right.
retirement, show them that way. And I think another why is I want to make us as successful as possible because I couldn't have done any of this without my dad. So the fact of we can build this up together
Right.
and become, generational wealth for our family and be the two people that kind of change the whole trajectory of, the way that our family line goes.
Awesome.
I mean, that to me is a huge goal of where, my kids don't have to worry about money, my grandkids, so on and so forth, but not only just the money aspect, but the work ethic. And that's something that I've seen since a little kid of, my dad not staying at home and putting his feet up on the coffee table. It was, going to work. And, it's just, I think something as a man and something as a provider to your family, money is one thing, but it's showing through action that work ethic.
Well, tell me more about that work ethic. Where did you get that from? Because you've done some incredible things. 611 apps individually, well over 800 apps as a team. I know that's growing. Your dad was telling me you got already people averaging anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a week take home. It's amazing what you've done in terms of what you guys are teaching and coaching. I mean, this thing's going to explode. I can see it. I mean, you guys take this to any city in the country is going to be amazing. But talk to me about work ethic. Because I think a lot of people don't realize it's not something you click on a mouse and all of a sudden, tons of money, $300,000-$400,000 a year comes out of the air.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the work ethic.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from and tell me about it?
Oh, I mean, it's 100%, from my dad. And, my mom's a very hard worker too, but I've always been, my brother and I, he was always with my mom and I was always with my dad. So seeing him, owning businesses, doing insurance, things like that, it's not about, like I said, money. It's the work ethic of, putting forth that effort of just continuing to get better and better and better. Right. And, even my grandfather, I mean, he was a bricklayer and, he was a high school dropout. So
Wow.
He created a company, a masonry company. So it's just seeing my dad and then all those father figures that have done that
Right.
and continued to use that work ethic and go through. So it's just not wanting to be the one that drops that,
Right.
that ball and continue that, trend in our family of having that. So, and motivation's fleeting. So it's persistency of, like we talked about in annual enrollment
Right.
period, you called me at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and my dad and I are up at the office working and ensuring our agents are going to have things that they need to have to be successful themselves.
Right.
So it's just, continue to do that, and also us showing it, bleeds into the agents.
Right.
So they're going to pick that up. So if we're not, doing anything or we're just, lounging around, that is infectious. So
Right.
we want to make sure that they see us working. So, they're thinking, okay, well, I got to, keep this step up.
You lead by example. That's
Exactly.
great. And you had good leaders in your life with your dad, your mom, your grandfather. That's awesome. About your attitude, I've never seen you negative or say a negative word. Where do you get that from?
Yeah.
And how do you, because it can be a very challenging. Sales is not easy. That's why most people can't do it. And a big part is they have the want to and the desire, but they can't deal with the rejection and the negativity. How do you keep yourself, you're always positive. What's the secret?
Well, I would say you probably hadn't seen it enough, but we all have our down moments.
We're
but,
humans.
Yeah, exactly. But it's that energy is not only for other people, but that type of energy you give off.
Right.
That's what I say when you're talking to somebody, they can see or feel a smile through the phone, or they can feel your attitude through the phone. So something could change like that through a phone call. And that's the biggest thing with sales, talking about, beforehand, like especially with AFLAC and just kind of experience as you go, that is going to carry. If you carry one sale to the next, if you carry one appointment to the next, instead of just having one appointment that didn't work out, you're going to have 4 that didn't. And you carry that with you, and you kind of learn. And my biggest actual probably thing that I've learned is staying even keel, staying, not too highs or too high highs and too low lows of doing that. So trying to just stay even. If you get a sale, that's great. The next time to make a sale is right after you make one.
There you go.
So just carry that forward and keep going and keep
that
going.
Positive vibe.
Exactly.
Going.
And then you think about sales, what we tell people too is sales is a numbers game.
It is.
So if you have one person, you never know, whenever you stop, that next call might have been the one that had a husband and wife. So you may potentially just had 2 to 4 sales depending on what you're doing.
That's awesome.
And what you're trying to do. So, and you never know what that person could lead to. So it's just kind of going and staying persistent and doing that. So
Good point, Trey. I really appreciate you sharing that with you, because that's such an important thing. Not just have strong work ethic, but have the right mindset for the business. So you came aboard with Global Win. Global Premier Benefits, I know you've been working with us. How long now?
I think we started, was it before last annual enrollment period?
Yeah, so about 2 years now?
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience. I mean, you've been with other IMOs, FMOs, I'm sure. You were with Aflac. You were with what makes Global Premier Benefits different than anyone else you've ever worked with?
Well, and just like what we were talking about with Derek and Josh, it's kind of the community of people that you surround yourself with.
Right.
So, you are who you surround yourself with.
Right.
So great guys like them, yourself, Eric, kind of being around that competitive, nature and that attitude of wanting to go out and, just be better and do that. And, like doing the leaderboards, I think that's just such a great thing. I mean, we try to do it at our office too, just so, we can see it individually, because it's such a powerful motivator to look up there, especially for competitive people in seeing that. But not only that, but just tools that we're able to use and go through. And it's just a really tight-knit thing, I'd say, because there's always trainings, there's always platforms and different technology, but I don't know another place that, actually talks to each other weekly, spread ideas, people are sharing whether they're successful at something or, hey, this doesn't work, let's try this, and just kind of a group of people that are being successful together and working towards a goal together.
Awesome.
So, other FMOs, they might, I think I shared before when we were before, they may not even be at work on a Wednesday afternoon, which to me is crazy. So, nothing gets done. So,
you may not even get to know them.
Exactly.
Or even have their phone number.
Exactly. Having you and your wife, Kathy, being able to call you whenever we have a question about something or something needs to be done, or even Eric, on me to upline, being able to call him, it's everybody just kind of follows that same lead of being able to, hey, I'm available to talk, or other team members, people down in Florida that we have, Eddie Velez, he's great to call with veteran questions. He's a veteran himself. So I've called him multiple times with questions, always willing to help. And that's just kind of the same, culture that's been built, I think, in this company that is much different than everywhere else.
Good point. So there's some people watching right now. There's a man or woman out there right now watching this saying, can I do this? What's your words of wisdom to that man or woman out there right now that may came from similar background, dropped out of high school or college, wasn't quite sure where their life was going to take them? What is your advice to them? What words of wisdom could you share with that man or woman right now watching this at this moment?
I'd say take the leap. If you're going to do something, do it. Don't do something, halfway. Everything you do should be at 100%, no matter what you're doing. Because the effort, what you put into it, especially this business more than any other that I know of myself, is what you put into it is what you're going to get out. How many calls you make in a day, how many appointments that you set, what you're going to set yourself up for, that is going to be what you make of it. So take that leap, stop overthinking it. Stop, you can read as many books as you want to, you're never going to learn more by doing something.
Exactly.
So I would
learn
say
by doing.
Exactly. So take that leap. Make mistakes. You're going to fail in life, and learning that failure is a great thing, is one of the best lessons that you can learn, because you're always going to learn how to not do something, or you'll learn a lesson from that failure that will show you, okay, well, stand back up and, go again, because you're going to know now what not to do and what, the next direction would be.
Awesome. So I guarantee, if I know the answer to this question when I ask you next, I guarantee you wouldn't take an hourly wage job ever again.
Oh, no.
You would never take a salary job ever again?
No.
Why?
I just know what my time is worth at this point and how much I can get done in a certain way. And if, that's kind of the big thing that I've learned, that, from my dad, and really him showing me that. But, hourly, what we do, depending on how many agents that we have, somebody might be making, or a salary. Someone might be making $100,000 a year in their salary, but how many hours are you putting in?
Right.
You may make $100,000, but you could only make, $20 an hour
right.
for how much overtime you're putting in. How many holidays are you willing to miss? Or a doctor, they're making a lot of money, but how much student loans are they paying back? How many holidays are they missing?
Right.
So, I mean,
you're
being your own boss,
making 2 and 3 times, a typical lawyer or doctor, man, at 24 years old. That's impressive. Really impressive. Very impressive. So I knew that answer.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt there.
No. You're
in there.
Yeah. No.
I know you're very humble, but I'm like, it's pretty impressive. Yeah. I started at 24. We're about the same age. I wasn't making that kind of money. I mean, I made 100, but not the kind of money you're making. It's pretty impressive what you've done. It's such a short period of time. And can you speak real quick about the financial security of having renewals? Because a lot of these insurance agents I meet across the country, they get no renewals.
Yeah.
They don't have any backing. Can you speak about that real quick? Because I know some guys are out there, some of these companies, and yes, they make good money up front, but there's nothing on the back end. Can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, no, and one of the worst we were talking about earlier is final expense. I mean, I had an agent that came to us, last year, that was so dead set on final expense. That's what he was going to do. But you may sell, like we said, $200,000, worth of final expense.
Right.
But the next year, January the 1st comes, you're starting all over again. There's no residual that you're building up for taking care of those people. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so not only when you're taking care of people and making sure that they've got everything they need, are you getting referrals from it? Well, you're keeping that same business on the book. So even if you are somebody that is the worst that they can be in sales, but they have persistency and they show up to work every single day, you could be the worst Medicare sales agent in the history of the world, and eventually you are going to be successful. Because if you keep your people on the books, you make 10 sales every AEP, well, eventually that 10 sales is going to turn into 200 people to 400 people, if you show up every single time. Yeah. So I think renewals, about this business is the greatest thing.
Do you know the average renewal of a Medicare Advantage plan is equivalent to 20 renewals in final expense?
Really?
It's that different. One client is 20 times higher in Medicare Advantage than it is final expense. When I saw that, when I got Medicare Advantage in 2008, that my renewal checks I saw at a final expense company, took me 10 years to build that, and I did it in probably like less than 1 year. I did the same amount of renewals. 10 years versus 1 year actually was probably 6 months of Medicare Advantage, where it's unreal, the renewals. And then what that does for you and your family and your future, that true security. I tell new agents all the time, you get through that first year of Medicare Advantage, okay, because you're going to have to work. That second and third year is unbelievable because you got all those renewals coming in on the back end. Pretty impressive, isn't it?
And then even better, the 5th and 6th year.
Yeah, there you go, baby. I love it. So as we wrap up, Trey, you did an excellent job. And I really appreciate you, your mom and dad. They really have raised an amazing young man. I wish more young people like yourself would see and value how special this opportunity is. It can truly change your life. You don't have to have a college degree. I have one, but you don't need one to be set. You just have to have the right attitude, the right work ethic, and the right team. And speaking of teams, I know you're building a substantial team right now.
Yes.
Someone that's watching here today that may say, man, I want to talk to Trey a little bit further and how maybe I can join his team. If someone wants to connect with you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, we do have a website, deltabenefitsgroup.com.
Okay.
You can go in there and submit an inquiry. We also have our phone numbers on there. And anybody.
What is your phone number so someone can call you?
It's 901-460-7220.
Okay. Can you repeat that one more time?
901-460-7220.
Awesome.
And then call any questions or anything like that.
And they can talk directly to you.
Absolutely.
And you'll personally work with them and train them?
That's what we do to all of our in-house agents. We guide them through every sale. I take them on appointments. We do that. We do everything that we do, my dad and I as a team, is to make sure our agents are in the most successful position possible to make as much money as they can. We had people that we trained for 3 weeks before annual enrollment period and make $30,000 plus in that time.
That's awesome.
So, and that's somebody that never had any knowledge of insurance, anything like that.
And you provide leads too?
We provide leads. training, support.
That's
we provide computers, anything that they would need, and we help them. It's not like we just put them on the phone and leave them. I'm actually there helping each individual person while they're on the phone. We have a lot of in-house appointments as well. We put a lot of money into our office, showing we want people to want to work there. And then also when clients come in, they see, okay, this is a very serious, company. This is people that are going to help us. So we have a conference room that we bring a lot of clients into. We're very big on our local presence within Memphis. So we have people come in all the time, and we help and walk our agents through.
Awesome.
So we have certain things that we'll go through with them, making sure that they understand the material, that they understand what they're talking about, because people can see whether you don't know what you're talking about or not. So it's very, very clear, especially something in Medicare with as many moving parts as there are. So we provide full support, from all the way through. Even if you've been there 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, if you have questions, we are right there with you to help you answer.
Well, you've been a blessing, man. You really have.
I appreciate it.
Man, you're a legend in the making. I'm going to tell you, 611 apps. Everything you're doing is right on point, man. I'm going to tell you haven't seen anything yet. Mm-hmm. I was saying on one of the other podcasts I've done about if someone in your age group, the 20, could see this, by the time they're 30 years old, they can literally be making $1 million a year just in renewals alone. It's so impressive. And so you bring joy to me, man. I'm just so excited and happy for you. That's why I do what I do, is to pay it forward. And all I ask you to do is do the same. Mm-hmm. When you get to that mountaintop, help others get there as well. And I know you're going to be a man of your word and do that. Am I right on that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love it, man. So listen, I want to thank you. Trey Jones, you've been a blessing. Keep it up. We truly appreciate you, man. You've been a blessing.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you, Tony.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Great job.